Picture this. More than 3,000 years ago, in the golden sands of ancient Egypt, a boy barely 9 years old stepped into a world of power and chaos. His name was Tutankhamun, and he wasn't meant to be a legend. Welcome to Tales of Civilizations, where I'll take you through the epic stories of the past. And today, we're diving into one that shook the world. It's a tale of a forgotten king, a tomb filled with wonders, and a shadow that some say still lingers. Let's begin. Tutankhamun was born around 1341 BC, a child of a kingdom on the edge of collapse. His father, Akhenaten, had been a rebel, a pharaoh who turned his back on Egypt's ancient gods to worship a single deity, the sun disk Aten. The priests of Amun, the old god of power, were furious. Egypt's temples stood empty, its people confused. And when Akhenaten died, the weight of that chaos fell onto his son, a boy too young to rule alone. Tut was just 9, a puppet in the hands of advisors like the high priest Ai and the general Horemheb. They pushed him onto the throne, and for the next 10 years, he tried to heal a broken land. He brought back the old gods, rebuilt the temples, and gave Egypt a flicker of stability. But his story was short. At 19, Tutankhamun vanished from history. Was it malaria that took him, eating away at his fragile body, or a chariot crash, shattering his bones as he raced across the desert? We don't know for sure. His death was quiet, his tomb sealed in the Valley of the Kings, a narrow canyon where pharaohs rested under the watchful eyes of the gods. Egypt moved on, and Tut faded into the sand, forgotten for millennia. But this isn't just a story of a boy king. It's about what happened thousands of years later, when the past refused to stay buried. Fast forward to 1922. The world had changed. Empires rose and fell, but Egypt's secret still slept beneath the dunes. Enter Howard Carter, a stubborn British archaeologist with a dream. For years, he'd been digging in the scorching heat of the Valley of the Kings, chasing a tomb no one believed existed. Most scholars dismissed Tutankhamun as a minor king, a footnote not worth the effort. But Carter had a wealthy backer, Lord Carnarvon, a nobleman with deep pockets and a thirst for glory. Together, they searched year after year through blistering summers and endless dust. By November 1922, their funds were running dry, their hope nearly gone. Then, on the 4th of that month, a worker's shovel hit something hard. A step, carved into the rock, hidden beneath centuries of sand. Carter's heart raced. He ordered his team to dig, and after days of sweat-soaked labor, they uncovered a sealed stone door, stamped with the royal seal of a forgotten pharaoh. Carter lit a candle, its flame trembling in the desert air, and pressed his face to a small hole in that door. What he saw stole his breath. Gold everywhere. A glittering shrine, a throne carved with lions, chariots ready for a king's journey to the afterlife. "Can you see anything?" Lord Carnarvon asked, his voice shaking behind him. Carter turned, eyes wide, and whispered, "Yes, wonderful things." They had found Tutankhamun's tomb, untouched for over 3,000 years. The world exploded with excitement. Newspapers splashed the story across front pages, a boy king reborn in golden splendor. That mask you're looking at? It became the face of a legend, its serene eyes staring out from a time long lost. But the celebration didn't last. Within months, something dark crept into the story. Lord Carnarvon, the man who'd funded this triumph, was back in Cairo when a mosquito bit him. A small thing, but it festered. Fever took hold, and soon he was delirious, muttering Tutankhamun's name as he slipped away. He died in April 1923, just 5 months after the tomb opened. Then the deaths kept coming. A scientist who'd examined the treasures collapsed and never woke up. A visitor who'd walked those sacred chambers dropped dead weeks later. Even Carter's pet canary met a grim end, snatched from its cage by a cobra, the very symbol of Egypt's pharaohs. The press went wild. They pointed to an inscription near the tomb's entrance. "Death will come on swift wings to him who disturbs the king's rest." A curse, they called it, the vengeance of a pharaoh guarding his eternal sleep. By 1930, over a dozen people tied to that discovery were gone, stricken by illness, accidents, or fates no one could explain. Was it real? Scientists today shrug it off. Maybe bacteria sealed in the tomb, maybe just bad luck. But for those who stood in that golden chamber, it felt different. The air was heavy, the silence alive with whispers of the past. Howard Carter himself lived on, untouched by the so-called curse, dying years later in 1939. Yet even he couldn't escape the unease, the feeling that something ancient had been awakened. Tutankhamun's tomb gave us a window into a lost world, a glimpse of a boy who became a king, then a mystery. But it also left us with a question that echoes through time. Was it a curse, or just coincidence? That's the tale of Tutankhamun, a story of glory, discovery, and shadows. This is just one chapter from the past, and there are countless more waiting to be told. If you're hooked on epic stories like this, hit that subscribe button and join me on Tales of Civilizations for the next journey through history. What do you think? Did the curse strike from beyond the grave? Or was it all chance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and I'll see you in the next tale.